All right, so we want to greet or say hi to all the ones who are going to watch this video as a recording, of course. My name is Eliezer Montaño, and the idea of this meeting is to have a debate or and discuss as well some aspects with regard to the Eastern and Western civilization. So here with me, I also have two classmates. One of them will give some arguments in favor of the civilization of the West, and my other classmate will defend the civilization of the East. So having said this, let's get started with this debate by asking first, what are those like advantages and disadvantages of the civilization you are going to talk about. So I think we can start with Linnaeus. Now you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Linnaeus Altamar Garcia, and I'm going to explain or I'm going to talk about the advan- advantages and disadvantages about the civilization of Western. I start with the advantages of my civilization. And the advantages that Western civilization has is that they can express themselves freely and say without fear. That thing important that I want to highlight is that women are not suppressed or just as much as in their Eastern countries, that even today women fight for their rights, so that there is more gender equality and they are not discriminated against for being women. And disadvantages of that civilization are moral of predatory consumption of nature and life energy waste. With the increase in cross population, the demand for food grows, and therefore the exploitation of primary resource is strongly affected, since it does not allow raw materials to recover may rarely. That is all that I say of the Western civilization.
Okay, I got it. Well, those were good comments. So well, now we can go ahead and continue with Veronica. What can you say, Veronica?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Veronica Villa, and well, for this question, I think that in the Eastern civilization, the most important values are the order, discipline, family responsibility, diligence, and collectivism. And also, Eastern people, they prefer to approach difficult situations with courtesy and politeness rather than aggression. And also, in Eastern cultures, the old people are the rulers of the family. So the children do what the elders say without asking them. Old people in that civilization usually make all the major decisions about the children, and as a partner gets older, children often take on the responsibility of caring of them. And on the other side, we have the disadvantages. So I think that the flaw in this ideology is that this culture is they prefer be obedience comforts over freedom. For example, in Japan, obedience to authority is traditionally valued, and the desire to assert independence has been chosen as a sign of arrogance. So that's all I have to say for this question.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Veronica. So, well, those were outstanding comments. And now we can see those, like we can start seeing those differences between these two civilizations. However, Linnaeus and Veronica, you know that something else that it is necessary to take into account are the social, political, historical, religious, educational, and also economical aspects of these two civilizations. So maybe there's something you want to say about this, Veronica?
Yes. First, I want to start talking about some important traditions of Eastern civilization. And there some these traditions are more cultural. For example, they celebrate the Lantern Festival in China. In this festival, the first full moon on the year to celebrate the Chinese New Year, and in that date, streets and other public space are decorated with various paper lanterns and parades with a large paper dragons and people who dance to the rhythm of the music. And other important tradition is that in the Eastern civilization, the people remove shoes when enter a home, establishment, or temple. And they think that is a way of not enter impurities or bad energies from the outside. I also think that in Eastern people are they are based on the ethics and honor and shame, but in Western they are based on law. And I also think that in the East they prefer to spend time with their family, with their father's mother, with all the family, than spend time doing their things, their chores, something like that. I also think that the study and the in the education is more organized than in the West. For example, in China and in the East, it's very common to see the obedience in the very young people, the child, the schools, all of that. It's very very organized and all of that. That's all I have to say.
Perfect, thank you. So, what about you, Linnaeus? What are those aspects that you think you can take into account or mention here?
Permanent reference to the culture of Crete, antiquity with an emphasis on rational thought, philosophy, literature, science, politics, and art. Christian religion, or Catholic and Protestant, the set of values and customs contributed by Celts, German, and Slavs. The modern development of the national state and capitalism from their erasure it received Western culture reworked. The system of social, cultural, and political order towards the forms we know today, of which contradictions are also a part. The concept of democracy, education, Western culture develops the concept of the unity we know today. Scientific research based on old Roman law, among many other aspects, like a university, like a religion, and its forms, or the people knows today. That's all that I have to say in this aspect.
All right, thank you. Well, I know that all these aspects has been very well said. Let's go now with the last question. I know that these like the information you are providing about the two civilizations are incredible and totally interesting. However, that we're running out of time, and we have to get right to the point. So let's go to the last question, the third one, which would be, why are you in favor the civilization you are supporting and not against? You can start, Linus.
I am in favor of Western civilization because it is a civilization that possesses individualism, liberalism, constitutionalism, human rights, equality, freedom, rule of law, democracy, free market, separation of church and state. And I think it is important because Western offers us culture, develop the social and cultural and political ordering system into the forms we know today. And for finish, I think too the contribution that Western civilization left us was freedom, democracy, equal opportunities, capitalism, and is correlate the market economy and the technology. The importance of science, the prominent role of production and exchange of goods and service as a way of life.
Thank you, Lene. We can go ahead with you, Veronica.
Okay, well, on the other side, in the civilization of the East, I think that the most important contributions were made around the science. They apport many important contributions. For example, the Chinese created the cotton textiles and natural silk, paper, ink, landscape painting, and traditional acupuncture. In addition, they are credited with the invention of the compass and obviously the construction of the Chinese wall. Likewise, it was one of the first civilizations to study the stars and name constellations, being the calculation of the circumference of the Earth and one of the most important contributions in agriculture. They created a very advanced irrigation system. So for that reason, I explain of the civilization of the East. They can afford to the humanity.
Okay, thank you, Veronica. So, with all this being said, I want to go with the last question, which is the one that I am going to talk about, and is that, like, what are those contributions that have had both civilizations in humanity, and why is all this so important, right? And I want to say some things about this. For example, if we talk about history, the West has contributed in many fields such as technology, politics, philosophy, art, and religion. That the West was a crucible of Catholicism, Protestantism, democracy, industrialization, and so on, right? So this one was actually the first civilization that seek to avoid or abolish slavery during the 19th century. Also was the first one to enfranchise women, and the first at using technology, things like steam, electric, or nuclear power. On the other hand, that we also have the Eastern civilization, that it has a lot of religions. That's basically like its main characteristic. However, it is also known for its history of innovation in philosophy, mathematics, and literature and science. which has given us many items, concepts, and institutions that we now use all the time. For example, of some things that has been invented from the Eastern civilization is, let's say, the toothbrush, the idea that we should have like the three-course meal that was invented in the East as well. The three-course meal is that idea that we have to, like the meal has to be served first in a format of soup, for example, then it has to be followed by a main dish that it could be meat or fish or whatever you're going to eat, and then like a sweet dessert, right? And well, those are basically some of the contributions that these two civilizations have done during the history of the world, right? And you see all these traditions with all these things. The idea is not to say like, well, this one is better, or no, I think that this civilization is better, but just to realize that both civilizations have impacted greatly and incredibly in the world we have right now. It is good to know the culture we have around the world. And I think this kind of debates, this kind of information also shows us how we can be so different and so similar at the same time as human beings. So that's all that we have to say in this debate. We want to say thank you for watching this meeting, for watching this video, and I hope this has been useful and yeah, like very useful to all the ones who are gonna watch this. So no, that would be basically all. Thank you, Linnaeus. Thank you, Veronica, and thank you to everyone. You can stop recording. Bye bye.